Hey guys, I'm Cat Navarro Lee with IdeateTV, and I'm really excited to be interviewing the very talented AJ Rafael. Many people know him for his wonderful voice, and he's got a huge social media presence. But he's also a producer, and the past few years he's been producing a show called Crazy Talented Asians. Hi AJ, thanks so much for joining me and
Of
talking to
course.
IdeateTV about your holiday show. So
Yes.
this is the third year that you're doing this, right?
Technically it is. Yeah. And we just started doing it with East West Players last May 2019. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the ninth show in the series that I started, and yeah, I couldn't be more happy.
How did you and East West Players get connected?
Well, I had been auditioning for them forever, of
Hmm.
course. And I finally got to be in a show, Mamma Mia, last year.
Oh,
So
I wish I
yeah.
saw that one. I'm sure it's on recording somewhere.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I feel like, I'll brag. It was their highest grossing musical ever.
Of
So, you
course.
know, we extended multiple times and it was an experience of a lifetime. And I already had known Andy Lowe and some of the people from East West Players before that. But during Mamma Mia, during our run, I asked them, I was like, and they've been to my Crazy Talented Asian show when it was at the Rockwell. I was like, how do you feel about doing this at East West Players? And we made it happen. And they knew I had a fan base in a different way. So, I come in as an actor, of course, East West Players, but
Hmm.
I've been doing the singer songwriter stuff for 14 or so years now. So I've kind of mixed the two worlds to bring this show together, Crazy Talented Asians.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm really happy that I collaborated with them to bring this show to their theater.
And that's a great thing because I feel like now everything is kind of meshing with the social media and
Right.
performing. Everything is just kind of, art is art and people want to see things they can relate to and they want to see who they
Yeah.
like.
I feel like that is, and that's something that has been ingrained in me since like the MySpace days, like I've always been
MySpace.
about the power of social media and the power of, us having our own voice if we just make it happen. I
Hmm.
think the difference between like an actor's mindset is um and sometimes we are waiting for the call, right? We're waiting for the opportunity.
Hmm.
And I think the big change in the last decade or so is that we're able to make our own moves and put up our own videos and put up our own short films and make our own reels and things like that. So then, the companies that we want to work with will have a portfolio for them already, and
Exactly.
we can work together. So that's been the power of that, and I'm happy that East West has been open to kind of the change in the industry for the last couple of years. And I mean, I think it's the best of both worlds. So
Right. What a wonderful collaboration. Now, initially, when you first started this, tell me a little bit about how that idea came about. It was inspired by Crazy Rich Asians, the movie, right?
of course. And when I saw the success of that, I was like, man, how cool is it that everyone in this movie pretty much was Asian? I was like, when I go to cabarets at venues like the Rockwell or even in New York, there's always like, it's mostly white, of course, but also there's always maybe one or two people of color, and if one's Asian, I get so excited, and the pressure
Hmm.
is on them, and it's like, oh god, I hope they're good so they can, because they're representing for us, right?
Yeah.
And then, well, the thing about the Crazy Talented Asian show is that everyone is Asian, so it's just kind of, like, no pressure, no pressure, everybody.
Oh my God, sorry. My kid just ran
No,
in here.
hi.
I think
Hey,
it's
this is home, work from
because
home life.
she heard that you might be singing and she wants to hear a little sample. Well, her
Hi.
dad's but yeah, that is
Next
definitely
time.
next time, yeah. But yeah, one of the things I was gonna ask you anyways is like what it's a holiday show, so you're probably
Yeah.
gonna be doing Christmas stuff. But if you could kind of maybe give me a little preview of what you might be performing.
I mean, look, I could sing a chorus or two, but let me hype up the performers who will be there. Some who have not performed on the East West Players stage. Josh Dela Cruz, who he's not in California. He's the Filipino host of Blues Clues and You.
Yo,
So we're really
yeah.
excited to
My
have
kid
him.
watches that. Well, I mean, I just started to make her watch that because I was like, there was an episode where he was making bibinka, and I was like,
You're
you
like, that's
gotta
crazy,
watch
right?
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, something that I had just logged down yesterday is that the woman who plays Lola, his Lola on one of the episodes, she's going to be introducing him during the show. So
Ah,
it's very cool to have Filipino representation on TV, especially for your kids. Like we wish we had Blues Clues growing up, and there was a Filipino guy on there, right?
yes.
Um, so he'll be performing, um, and I just got his performance yesterday, and his voice is amazing. He's such a great musician. We also have Kathy Ang, who is the voice of the lead character in Over the Moon, and
Hmm.
she's of Chinese descent, but she grew up Filipino because her parents are both from the Philippines as well. So we connected when we met online, and usually we would do this in real life, but it was cool. We got to arrange something via Zoom.
What?
So she
Okay, so you guys
something.
met like in a virtual setting.
We met in a virtual setting, and she was so excited. She's just like, I want to be part of that Asian American community that y'all have in LA so bad. And I was like, what? You're representing for us in this huge movie,
Hmm.
Netflix, Over the Moon, right?
I love
So
that movie so much.
it's so great, and I'm sure that I can't watch it in a kid's perspective, but I imagine that all the colors and the beautiful things in that movie is just so awesome to watch as a kid. So I have just given her so much just like respect and credit for being a part of that, and her voice is phenomenal. So we also have Dante Bosco, Dee Magno Hall, who is an East West Players alum, and she's done so much for EWP.
Now, are all of these people singers? I didn't know. Is Dante Bosco singing?
Right, so he's going to be sharing a poem with us. He does spoken word.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah, and
I've
he
been to his
recently
venue or the venue that
uh,
they had before they helped create.
DPL.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Poetry Lounge. It used to be called Dante's Poetry Lounge, but it became DPL, and he's amazing performer. Like I've always wanted to find a way to bring him into like my concerts, right?
Hmm.
And he does rap a little bit, so we've done some tracks and stuff. But the fact that this is a variety show as well
Yeah.
is very cool. So there's going to be a lot of cool things. It's not just singing. We're also having my friends. They're called Asian Boss Girl, ABG for short.
Oh, yes, I know them. Hmm.
Yeah, they're a podcast, and they're creating like a little holiday traditions video for us as well. So I love that I was able to find um, this way in this virtual medium to feature people who are not just musicians, like as if it was in at the Rockwell or at East West Players, where you know it's a musical concert, right? So
Yes.
this is kind of a variety thing.
I love that because people want to see that right now. And this time is just a great time for them to be able to have that kind of inspiration at home.
Yeah.
Now, how do you guys do you have to rehearse for the show? And how would you do that? Like, how is it different from when you would prepare for your shows that were live?
Um, in some senses, it's easier. Excuse me, and in some senses, it's a little harder. And harder only in a way because I love to be there with the person playing piano and like, hey, what key is good for you, and how would you like me to play this part? It's mostly kind of like a trust, and I'm like, so for example, with Kathy, I'm playing some stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll record the track, while you're like after this call, I'll send it to you, and hopefully you like it, and then she'll record over it. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's different in that sense, but again, it is easier because it's just like a quick back and forth, and then they record it at home, and they send it in, and I'll be playing these performances in between. Me and my girlfriend Alyssa, she's working right now, we will be singing live Christmas songs in between as hosts. So it'll be a hybrid show, kind of.
Wow, so you're basically the producer, you're talent, you're like tech, you're tech as well. you're running all of these different aspects all together. But hey, it's a
Yeah,
learning
I mean,
experience.
so when we first started doing this virtually, Snehal, artistic director of East West Players, he kind of just trusted me that I
Hmm.
would be able to put on a virtual show because I'm so used to the streaming world, and I've done Twitch and Facebook Live and things like that. I even have this like stream deck thing. So, click
Oh,
different camera angles, videos, turn my mic off, things like that. I bought this for the shows.
dang, that's
And
legit.
so we're like a straight, TV production
Yeah.
in this room. Luckily this time, our friend Charles Oy, he will be tech directing um, safely, um, distanced, and he will be on the computer manning this stuff. So me and Alyssa will be singing live, and not have to worry about that because in the past show she's next to me. You don't even see her in the thing. I'm hosting. I'm like, hey everybody, welcome. Our next act is, and she's on the computer and she's moving the video. So then it's all queued up. So she can
Yeah.
just press the button. But it's been a wild quarantine. We're learning so much, but all for the for the entertainment.
Right. Well, I'm very excited to check that out. So people will just log on to, I mean, they go on to YouTube, or how do they watch it?
Yeah, so you can watch on two ways. And for those who don't have Facebook, just search East West Players on YouTube and
Hmm.
we'll be right there.
Live
Um,
streaming. Okay.
Live streaming YouTube live on the East West Players YouTube channel, and then also it'll be all over Facebook. But East West Players is Facebook at 5:30, and there'll be a countdown and everything. So we'll be able to have people find us around that time. And yeah, we wanted it to be available to everybody, so anyone can watch.
So even if they miss the live stream, they can still catch it on your YouTube or their YouTube later.
Exactly. But the fun thing about catching it at that time is chatting with everybody and
Hmm.
everyone's reactions, and when there are going to be some surprise performances as well. So y'all don't want to miss that in the moment. But also, of course, it will be on replay for the world to see over and over again, as you can watch our past Crazy Talented Asian show on the YouTube channel as well.
Now, I know this is probably really difficult, but how do you choose who you invite to be on the show?
Well, a big reason I started the show as well is because I wanted to give my friends, some of my friends who may not be as big as a Didi Magno Hall or a Dante Bosco, the opportunity to also be on stage with them as well.
Hmm.
So it's a mix of, in my mind, it's like, who are my friends who are really talented, who have not played many shows, put them on with some of my friends who do have a name and who have done it
Hmm.
for a long time as well. So those are the two things on my mind. I love to get people who, yeah, I've respected for a long time, and then some people I just DM a shot in the dark, and they're like, okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am blessed to have like a good track record. The people who've worked with me are like, yeah, AJ is really cool, and he'll jam with you and all this stuff. And sometimes I just get really lucky.
Wow, so cool. Like, you're right, like a very diverse but pretty cool group of performers where you may know some, you may not. So it's exciting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't want this to also go out of context, but I love bringing in the Filipino representation because I
Hmm.
have felt in the past that a lot of Asian American organizations, and no fault to them, have kind of lacked that Southeast Asian representation,
Hmm.
and not that I'm like, I need to book more Filipinos than anyone else. I just happen to know more Filipinos, and
Yeah, yeah.
and then it's not till after I look at the flyer, I'm like, holy crap, this is actually like more than 50% Filipino. But that's just kind of like a natural thing that happens, and not that I'm doing it on purpose or anything, but I'm really happy that Filipinos are able to represent, especially because, Crazy Rich Asians, there's two Filipinos in that movie,
Yeah.
so we gotta represent. And so
Yeah. Well, and I think anytime somebody anticipates a show with wonderful voices, they're like, hey, is there a Filipino there? Because come on now.
Yeah, I think it's funny. The stereotype for Filipinos is that we can sing for sure. So
Yeah. Well, okay. So going from there, can we hear a little bit of you singing?
yes, yes, of course. I'll give a little preview, and I don't actually know if I'm singing this at the show yet. I probably will. We'll see. Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening. A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. We're walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow, we can build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire, babe. We'll face unafraid of all the plans that we made. We're walking in a winter wonderland.
Ah, thank
Yeah.
you so much. It's just that holiday spirit has already filled the room. Makes me so happy.
Good. I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, AJ, and I'm excited for the show and just for all these Asians and Filipinos to be able to spread some joy and love to people online.
Totally. I'm so happy, and I'm happy that your kid will maybe get to see Josh sing a few songs, Blues Clues. Come on.
Yeah, and be like, hey, look at someone that looks kind
Yeah,
of like you.
yeah, totally.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much. And
Thanks, Kat.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. And I'm Kat with IdeateTV. Bye.